Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full face of kbeauty makeup. Some of these products I've used before and some are newish to me because I usually gravitate towards Western beauty, but I have a lot of kbeauty collected from just buying makeup over the years and receiving some in PRs. So I thought, why not just do a full face of kbeauty and just dive right in and try more products. I've always admired the formulations of kbeauty products because I find that a lot of the Western brands end up doing similar formulations just a few years after kbeauty has done it. But one thing that's really kept me from using kbeauty products is the fact that their shade range is so limited. I'm obviously not very tan, but I find that a lot of the complexion products in kbeauty are a little too light for me, even at their darkest shade. But I think recently they really have expanded their shade range and they have started adding shades that are darker and a little more saturated, because I feel like a lot of their shades used to be super light and pastel. But anyway, I have so many products here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use it all, so there might be like a look number 2 that comes later on using more of these products. But yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so this isn't kbeauty, but I just need to prime my skin. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Primer. You guys know I love this stuff. It's been a couple of hours since I did my skincare, so I just wanted to add an extra layer of hydration to my face before adding makeup on top. So the first thing we're going to be using is a cushion foundation. This is the grwm Essential Skin Neuter Cushion in Light. So this has SPF 50. I used this once and I don't really remember my thoughts on the product, so we're just gonna try it out again together. I know what you're supposed to do is take this cushion and kind of press it into the sponge right here, and then you're supposed to tap it off on the lid, and it just helps to make sure that the product is evenly distributed on the sponge or on the cushion. And then you're supposed to just tap this into the skin. I've tried a lot of cushion foundations and usually I don't like the way my skin looks with it because it just looks really thick and cakey. And maybe it's because the cushions I tried before were super high coverage, but they always just made it look like I was wearing a lot of product on my skin, and that's literally the opposite of what I want in my makeup. I want my makeup to be completely undetectable. Okay, not completely, but like pretty undetectable and just natural looking. Like I want it to look effortless. Okay, this shade might be a little light for me, especially after just coming back from the Maldives. I don't really like putting foundation on my upper lip. I just feel like it makes my makeup look super obvious, but I think I have to, because if I don't, it kind of just looks like I have a ring around my lips. So I have to do that. I don't think this shade is right for me at the moment, but I'll just ignore the shade difference and focus on the texture. Well, I must say that this formula is super lightweight. I don't feel it on the skin. It feels quite weightless. I know this cushion is a lot of people's favorite because of how well it wears throughout the day. So I'm excited to see what this will look like after a couple of hours. So that's one layer of this cushion foundation. It definitely evened out a lot of the blemishes that are on my skin, and the finish is satin. So it's not overly dewy or glowy, which is good because I don't like to be too shiny. Yeah, it's just a little bit light, so we are gonna have to add something to deepen the base up a little bit. I have 2 concealers here that I am open to using today. The first one is this grwm from the same brand, but it's their concealer palette, and this is what it looks like. I remember buying this because I thought it looked a lot like the Mary Phillips, I don't even know what that's called, like the palette that she has that's for underpainting. I feel like this looks super similar, so I bought it and I used it once, to be honest with you, and I filmed a video with it and it was good. I'm just not a very big like painting my makeup on kind of person, so I just find that a liquid concealer is usually a little bit easier for me day to day, so I haven't really reached for this palette at all. There's also this from the brand T-Fit. It's their Cover Up Pro Concealer in the shade 1 Neutral. So I've used this a couple of times. It's a great concealer, super high coverage, and yeah, this was a really great concealer. Don't really have anything bad to say about it. But today, I'll probably use this T-Fit one under my eyes. I'm just gonna use my concealer brush and dip in to two of the shades. So it's the medium shade and the lighter shade. And then I'll just pat this under my eyes. Yeah, this is super high coverage. Maybe I need a little more because I feel like this part right here looks a little dark still. And I'm gonna bring it down to the front part of my cheeks because I get focused on brightening my under eyes and then I just leave the brightener right under my eyes and it looks crazy later, like during the day, because it just looks like I have a ring of white around my eyes. So I always now remember to bring it down to the sides of my nose and it just creates almost like a triangle highlighter effect under my eyes. I can't say that the finish is super natural because it's a lot of coverage. So it obviously looks like you're wearing makeup. You can't really disguise that. But yeah, my under eyes look super bright right now. And then I'm going to take this grwm palette and I'm gonna use this darker brown shade right here to contour my face because I don't have any other product here that I can use for my face as a contour. So I'm just gonna take this darker shade and I'm pretty much just going to paint this. Yeah. Oh, it's like super warm though, but it's okay. It'll be my bronzer. I'm just gonna dot this on my forehead, just a little bit down the sides of my nose. Well, that worked pretty well. It blended so nicely. Okay, the color's a little warm. Don't know how it's coming off in camera. I'll just bring it down my jaw here as well. And I feel like that usually just makes everything look a little more uniform, and I'll just bring it closer to my eyes up here. Yeah, and that way I feel like this side of my cheek already looks so much better than this side. You just need a very dense brush to help blend out the product in a very seamless way. Down the jaw. And then I'm going to blend out the dots that are on my forehead. Okay, this definitely made my base look a lot better. More even on my skin. Let's see, compared to my shoulder, yeah, my skin looks a little bit more believable, I guess. I am going to blend out my nose contour. This is definitely not the most natural looking base. It definitely looks like I have some full coverage foundation on, but at the same time, pretty skin-like. Like it just looks like I have very, very perfected skin, and no one has perfected skin unless you're really, really lucky. So for now, I'm gonna leave the base here. I think I'll add blush at the end. I'm gonna move on to the eyes actually. Oh, but first I'm gonna do my brows. This is the Judy Doll brow pencil. I don't have a Kbeauty brow product because I'm pretty loyal to my brow products. If I find one that I like, I probably won't change it for a really long time. So I want to move on to the eyes before I go into blush because I don't really know the eye look that I want to do today. I have some options. So I have this Clio Shadow Gallery eyeshadow palette, and this is what the shades look like. This is what the shades look like. It's a very soft, muted, neutral palette. I also have 3 of these Romand slide-in single eyeshadows, and these shades are also really pretty. And then the last eyeshadow option that I have is this Laka single eyeshadow, and it reminds me a lot of the Space Cowboy eyeshadow from Urban Decay. But I think today I'll start off with the Clio palette just because I have so many options to choose from. I'm gonna start with this top contour shade. It's quite a neutral brown, but it's light, so it's perfect for using as a base for my eyes today. It's a little more pigmented than I expected. I didn't even add more product to the brush, but I am using it for both of my eyes. I'm just creating a very soft, hazy look on the eyes. I feel like that just adds shadow and dimension. To be honest with you, I'm not really going anywhere this afternoon. I will be going on a date tonight with my husband. We're going to get Italian food, which is one of my favorite cuisines, so I'm very excited about that. So I guess I can be a little bit more experimental with my makeup today because I am just going out for dinner. I think I'm gonna first line my eyes with this darker eyeshadow, and I'm using a skinny eyeliner brush. If you ever want to add definition to your eyes, but you don't want to use an eyeliner because you find that it's too harsh, a small eyeshadow brush like this with a darker eyeshadow is the perfect solution because you just create that hazy eyeliner look and it's soft and blended, but it still gives you that definition. I think all over the lids, I'm going to start with this peachy shade, and I'm not going to bring it as high as I brought the first grayish brown eyeshadow. So I'm just keeping it pretty low like that. It just adds a little bit more warmth to my eyes, which I think will help tie in the eyeshadow to my blush in a sec. I don't know if it comes off on camera, but it just adds a little bit of warmth back to my eyes. I felt like my eyes were looking a little bit too gray. And then I'm gonna go in with this sparkly eyeshadow right here. It's like a nice, ooh, it's like a soft peachy color. Okay, I'm just going to tap this right in the center of my eye. It's not as wet looking as I was expecting, but it still adds dimension, which is great. Yeah, that's a very nice subtle peachy shimmer on the eyes. I'm gonna go in with this pencil brush and pick up a little bit more of this darker color, and I'm just going to run this right along my lashes, and that will just help unify the look a little bit. Like if you compare this eye with this eye, I just find that close to my lash line, it looks a little too bare. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna even it out. And then using the first eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to blend out the edges of my eyeshadow. And then before I finish, I'm just gonna take whatever's still left on this pencil brush and blend it right on my lower lash line. I will not be creating that aegyo look under my eyes because it's just not for me. I've tried it a couple of times and I just feel off. But I am open to adding a little bit of a shimmery eyeshadow right in the inner corners of my eyes. I'm just gonna use my fingers for it. I just like to add it right here. Yeah, do you see how that just brightens up my eyes? It's actually a very brightening eyeshadow. So now the eyeshadow is done. I'm going to curl my eyelashes, and then I'm going to add a coat of this Romand Hand All Fix mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras. Actually, I've done 2 Instagram posts about Asian mascaras, and this was a mascara that rated pretty highly. I find it very lengthening for my lashes, and it really helps to hold a curl, so you don't have to worry about your lashes drooping. And of course, it doesn't smudge, because that is probably the one thing I cannot stand in a mascara. If it smudges on me, I am not using it again. Okay, so now that the lashes are done, I'm gonna go back to the face. So I have 3 different blush options today. The first one is this Vanilla Romantic Blush Lip and Cheek. I have it in the shade Blended, which is a beautiful berry pink. I also have the Peri Para Syrupy Talk Cheek in this soft corally beige color. And then I also have this Odd Type So Touchable Water Blush, and this is in a more pastel coral shade, so you can see the difference. So because they're all creams, I'm going to add it to my cheeks before I do my powder, but I want to test out the formula. So I haven't tried this Odd Type one before. I just want to try it on the back of my hand. Oh, that's a lot. I feel like that's a little too much. I need a tissue. Okay, this is super, super sheer and quite wet and creamy. Let me try this Peri Para one. It's also my first time using it, so I'm removing the stopper. I feel like this is gonna be very similar. Yeah, this looks quite runny as well, just as sheer. Actually, now that I see them side to side, I feel like the Odd Type one isn't as sheer. I don't really know if that's the vibe. And then my last option is this Vanilla Lip and Cheek stick, which is kind of your classic cream blush. I love the packaging, by the way. It looks a lot like the Rhode Pocket blushes, but this formula is much more firm. If you've tried the Rhode Pocket blushes, you know how soft and creamy those blushes are. This one is definitely not as soft. Like, it's not going to smush against your skin if you press too hard. This is just more of your classic cream formula, but it's also very, very emollient and blendable once it's on the skin. I think if I were to stay in my comfort zone, I would definitely just use this vanilla blush, because this is actually a product that I have in my regular makeup rotation. So if I were to stay in my comfort zone, I would actually just use this today, but I think I should try something new. So I think I'll try the Peri Para blush. I just think that the shade goes with my makeup the most. I feel like the Odd Type one is a little too pastel coral, so let's go with the Peri Para today. What I'm going to do is just put a dollop on the back of my hand, right on top of the swatch pretty much, and then I'm going to take my blush brush. Wait, I think I'm gonna spread it out a little first. And then I'm going to pick it up with my blush brush and get it evenly with all the bristles. And then I'm just going to tap this on my cheeks, and we'll see if it picks up my base as well, because we know that my base is super creamy already, and this is more of a liquidy formula. Okay guys, I really like this shade. Honestly, I've had this blush for a couple of months and I never thought to use it because, well, I guess liquid blush is just a little bit more annoying to use on a daily basis because you have to, like, you know, pour it out, and then you're really scared of using too much. But this looks so pretty. Like, look at my cheeks. That is stunning. And I feel like the shade really complements my current skin tone. And then just to make sure my base is super seamless, I am going to take my concealer brush and blend out the edges of the blush, just like that. And I feel like everything just looks very soft and blended. I do have a couple of blemishes, so I'm gonna take my favorite concealer pencil. This is from The Same, which is a K-beauty brand, so perfect to use in this video. And I'm just going to cover up my little blemishes. Okay, so finally we're gonna move on to powder, and I don't have a K-beauty powder to show you guys today, so I will just be using my Laura Mercier Ultra Blur translucent powder. And I'm pretty much going to focus the powder in my T-zone. I really like the glow that I'm getting on my cheeks, so I'm going to try to avoid that area. But because I have combination skin and we're approaching summer, I do need to set pretty much my entire face. So I feel like the makeup I'm doing today is quite full glam. And it's a little unexpected for a random Sunday afternoon. I totally forgot to start with this, but I have the Fui 1 Minute Ready Lip Serum. Because it says it only needs 1 minute, I am going to do it now. Pretty much just a very thin lip serum that will help prep the lips before you add product on top. It feels really nice. It has a nice like candy fragrance to it. It's very light. I like it, but if you're sensitive to fragrance, maybe stay away. Before the lips today, I want to use this Etude Soft Fixing Tint in the shade 03 Must Be Love. The packaging is so cute. I bought this when I was in Korea last year, and I swatched it in store, and I thought it was the most perfect My Lips But Better matte lip shade. So it's been a full minute. My lips definitely feel really soft and hydrated from the Fui lip serum. So it's perfect to now test out this blurry lip tint. It's so soft, I love it. That is perfect. It's very, very soft feeling on the lips. There's a tiny bit of slip, so it doesn't feel like you're just smushing dry lips together. There's a nice like silicone-y feel. I know some people don't really like that silicone-y feel, but I feel like a lot of the more comfortable matte lipsticks that are out there, or matte lip tints that are out there, use a lot of silicone because that's what gives that soft, blurring, smooth look to the lips, which I don't mind. I feel like you just need some good prep to layer underneath the lip tint and it'll feel really comfortable. So this is the finished makeup look. I'll come up close so you guys can see everything. Does it look like I'm wearing makeup? Absolutely. Would I wear this exact routine every single day? Probably not. I mean, I definitely did go crazier on the eyes than I normally do, and I actually think this is perfect for my date night tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will definitely be doing a part 2 with more K-beauty products that I have in my collection. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will speak to you guys soon. Bye!